On Wednesday, the Supreme Court will hear oral arguments in the case surrounding birthright citizenship. You'll remember on President's first day back in the White House, he took 46 major presidential actions, including signing executive orders, memorandums, and proclamations. The 25th action he took was signing an order meant to end birthright citizenship for people born in America with parents either in the country illegally or on a temporary visa. The order was challenged and paused, awaiting a Supreme Court ruling. CBS News legal contributor and Loyola Law School professor Jessica Levinson joins me now. So what part of the Constitution are we talking about?
We're talking about the 14th Amendment. We're talking about the Citizenship Clause. And even more specifically, we're talking about a phrase subject to the jurisdiction of. And everything is going to come down to what that particular phrase actually means. And what we're talking about here, and there we have it on the screen, is our understanding of the 14th Amendment has been that if you're born in this country, you, in fact, are a citizen, regardless of the legal status of your parents, with really one carve out. And the carve out is for the children of foreign diplomats. The question is whether our understanding of the 14th Amendment and Supreme Court case law that goes back all the way to 1898 is, in fact, wrong, and that you don't automatically get citizenship just by virtue of being born in this country.
Is there precedent, or is this the first time that we are talking about this at this level?
Well, this is such a great question, because I think what those challenging the executive order would say, there is precedent. And in fact, it goes back to 1898. And there the case said, it doesn't matter what the status of your parents are. If you're born here under the Citizenship Clause that we just saw on the screen, you are a citizen. I think what the Trump administration will say is, be that as it may, that case didn't actually deal with parents who didn't have legal status. They just weren't U.S. citizens. And so I think what the Trump administration will try and do is distinguish that very old case. I'm going to go out on a limb, and you know I rarely do this when it comes to Supreme Court cases, and say, I think the Trump administration absolutely has an uphill battle here. When we think about, you just asked me about the Citizenship Clause, you asked me about the precedent. I think an originalist perspective for this particular issue indicates that you cannot executive order your way out of the Constitution.
But I have a question, because, okay, so in 1898, clearly illegal immigration was not the issue and the political fireball that it is today. And so are the lawyers or the justices going to have to try and get in the minds of the founding fathers who wrote the Constitution and wrote the 14th Amendment? Did they intend to include people who were born? You were talking about it was really intended for people who were born to foreign diplomats, or is that not even part of the question that they're going to be talking about?
Another great question. So I think what we're going to do is go back to the 14th Amendment. We know this is a post-Civil War era amendment, and think about what the Birthright Citizenship Clause was designed to do. And it was designed to say that if you were formerly a slave, if you're the descendants of people who are formerly slaves, that does not matter. You are a citizen of this country. And in fact, I think there's an original understanding around the 14th Amendment to indicate that there was, in fact, illegal immigration, in the sense that people were illegally taken from Africa, brought to this country. And the 14th Amendment made clear that if their children were born on U.S. soil, their status would not strip them of citizenship, or would not mean that they weren't citizens. So I hope I'm answering your question by saying, yes, I think there's absolutely, as you said, a lot to look to in terms of when the 14th Amendment was written and ratified, where we were as a country just after the Civil War, why this is a Reconstruction Amendment, and given all of that, reading what those words meant in that historical context.
You know what I love about you? Even when I ask you a stupid question, you never make me feel stupid, and you give me a history lesson. Thank you so much, Jessica Levinson, as always.
Thank you.